Hello and welcome everyone. We are going to talk about two different enemies of Spider-Man. Yes, we are talking about Carnage and Venom. In this video, we will see who will win in a one-v-one battle between Carnage and Venom. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon so that you will never miss an upcoming update. With that out of the way, let's get started with the video.
What the hell are you?
I am Venom.
Let's talk about their backstory first. The character of Venom first appeared in Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars issue 8. This character was created by Todd McFarlane and David Michelinie. Venom is an alien symbiote that is formed from a thick, liquid, organic material. He depends on his host to sustain and in return gives his host great powers. Venoms were brought to the Marvel universe from the Battleworld, a world Beyonder created to host a battle between good and evil. It's Spider-Man who takes the symbiote back to Earth, mistaking it for a black costume. This symbiote has chosen different hosts throughout the years. Its first host was Spider-Man, but Eddie Brock is the most famous host of Venom. Angelo Fortunato, Mac Gargan, Red Hulk, and Flash Thompson have acted as hosts for this alien symbiote. Venom is immune to Spider-Man's spider senses because of its earlier contact with Spider-Man. It can also grant power to its subsequent hosts. This symbiote is capable of shapeshifting and has the ability to form spikes or expand its size and mimic the appearance of other humanoids after it has obtained a host. It can also heal the injuries in the host's body at a faster rate than normal human healing allows. Although Venom's character started as a villain, it is now considered as an anti-hero who is fighting against crime. Talking about Carnage. Carnage is the offspring of Venom. It bonds with Cletus Kasady, an insane serial killer, creating one of Spider-Man's most lethal and brutal enemies. Spider-Man even enters into a truce with Venom to defeat Carnage. The character of Carnage first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man issue 361 in 1992. David Michelinie and Mark Bagley are the creators of this character. Kasady and Carnage are more connected than other symbiotes and hosts since the symbiote lives in the blood of Kasady. Carnage is more vicious and brutal due to the insanity of his host. Carnage is also more powerful than Spider-Man and Venom. Most of his powers are similar to Spider-Man and Venom. But he also has some unique powers such as regenerating power by bleeding. His superior powers are also attributed to the fact that he was born in an alien environment. Although Venom spawned Carnage, Venom attempts to destroy Carnage. Let's discuss their powers and abilities. Talking about Carnage. The alien symbiote endows Kasady with physical strength greater than that of Spider-Man and Venom combined in shape-shifting abilities, allows him to project a web-like substance from any part of his body including the formation of weapons, and enables him to plant thoughts into a person's head using a symbiote tendril. Much like Spider-Man, Kasady has the ability to cling to virtually any surface and has a version of Spider-Man's spider sense, as the symbiote can relay information to him from any angle and grants Kasady the ability to see in any direction, warning him of incoming threats. He can rapidly crawl, walk, or run across even slick surfaces. The Carnage symbiote has abilities similar to those of Spider-Man as a direct result of the Venom symbiote's first host, Peter Parker, who transferred some of Spider-Man's power into the symbiote. He is able to regenerate damaged body tissues much faster and more extensively than an ordinary human. This has been shown as powerful enough to allow him to regenerate from losing any part of his body, from head to feet. Kasady is also immune to the effects of all earthly diseases and infections as long as he remains bonded with the symbiote. Unlike Venom, Carnage can launch parts of his symbiote at enemies in the form of solid weapons such as darts, spears, knives, axes, etc., although they disintegrate into dust within 10 seconds of leaving Carnage's body. Carnage also has the unique ability to warp his appendages into different arms, legs, and even wings. This is shown on several occasions when Carnage mutates his fingers and arms into what look like large swords. Kasady has full control over the size, shape, color where it is usually red and black, texture, and hardness of his symbiote. Like Venom, he can make his symbiote look like normal clothing or act as camouflage. With the symbiote bonded to his bloodstream, he can regenerate his costume from scratch simply by bleeding. His symbiote has the peculiar ability to block its parent's ability to sense and track it. And guess what? Venom is his parent. The symbiote is also able to rapidly adapt to new environments. When Kasady was taken into space by the Sentry, the Carnage symbiote was able to save his life by growing small sacs around his mouth that converted carbon dioxide into oxygen, allowing Kasady to stay alive long enough for him to be recovered. Let's have a look at Venom powers and abilities. Though requires a living host in order to survive, the Venom symbiote has been shown to be adept at fending for itself independent of a host. The symbiote is capable of shapeshifting abilities, including the ability to form spikes or expand its size, as well as mimic the appearance of other humanoids after it has obtained a host. The organism can additionally use its shape-shifting abilities to conceal itself by altering its coloration or by becoming completely invisible. It also contains a small dimensional aperture, allowing its host to carry items without adding mass to the costume. The symbiote also exhibits telepathic abilities, primarily when it needs to communicate with its host. Because of its contact with Spider-Man, the symbiote grants all of its subsequent hosts the hero's powers and cannot be detected by his spider sense. As Spider-Man's fighting style is partly dependent on his spider sense, his effectiveness was somewhat hampered when he battled Eddie Brock. Retaining its memory from the time it was bonded with Spider-Man, Venom is also capable of producing webbing similar to Spider-Man's own variety created from itself. The symbiote greatly enhances the physical strength of those it bonds with. Its hosts experience a vastly larger size and musculature. The symbiote displays non-human teeth, which are very sharp, and commonly protrudes a long tongue from its mouth. Venom is depicted as being physically much bigger than Spider-Man, as well as having more brute strength. Venom exhibits some immunities to the supernatural powers of others, such as the Penance Stare of Ghost Rider or Spider-Man's extrasensory spider. Some incarnations of the Venom symbiote have shown it able to replicate itself. The Venom symbiote is vulnerable to fire and sonic waves, causing it great pain and exhaustion if it sustains enough exposure. It can sense and track all of its offspring symbiotes except Carnage, who learned how to block this ability. The Venom symbiote is shown to form giant web-like dragon wings when it was in contact with Null. Now let's discuss differences between them. Carnage is actually able to infuse with the host's bloodstream. This is part of the reason Kasady and Carnage have such a strong bond. But Carnage seems to have a history with blood, whether that's infusing with it or shedding it. Symbiotes are cool because the more hosts they've worked with, the more powers and capabilities they're able to learn. This is one of the most iconic abilities Venom is known for, despite all symbiotes having the same power. And regardless of Carnage being the offspring, and therefore the stronger version of Venom, he's really only known for his bond with Kasady and a few other hosts. Carnage creates and uses some of its very own symbiote-made weaponry, very interesting use of its abilities. Venom can also do this, but we've never actually seen the weapons attached, nor have we seen the black symbiote actually rely on them. Carnage can increase its body mass and strength. By extending its body, it is able to increase its power, something we haven't seen Venom do to the same extent. This has been one of the biggest challenges heroes have ever had to face while taking on Carnage as an opponent, and it's always been relatively tricky to fight. But when he's able to escape through the pipes to call for backup around an entire city, it's almost impossible to fight. And we shouldn't forget Venom joined hands with Spiderman to fight against Carnage. This shows that Venom can't defeat Carnage in a 1v1 fight. So Carnage is the winner in a 1v1 fight. Don't tell me in the comments now that Carnage was defeated in the movie. This is a 1v1 fight video, and in a 1v1 fight, we saw how Venom was beaten badly by Carnage. And with that, we will bring this video to an end. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.